So I'm excited to work with all of you. I want to check in actually because I can go in so many different directions right now. I can go in the direction of listening to your music, giving you advice. We could do that at one point. I can give you writing exercises just to get you going into songwriting. Or I can present. I can do all of the above, but we only have like how many minutes? We have like 55 minutes. So, so I want to just check in with you. If you have preferences, put them in the chat. If you could just put in the chat, like, I would love to present a song today, or I really would like to work on my writing and getting out of writer's block. I want to do a writing exercise, or I'd really like to see you present something. Okay, I've got a vote there. I'm going to let you vote for a little bit just in the chat. You can put what, if you have an opinion, you can put it in the chat. If you don't have an opinion, then don't worry about it. If you don't care and you're just waiting for me to do something, that's fine. Then I'll just present probably. But I also want to know if you are interested in getting feedback on your material. So if that's the case, then I would put your information in the chat. Like, I would love to present. Abhishek, are you interested in presenting an original song? Can you unmute Abhishek?
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously, like, I would love for you to check it out and let me know what's your feedback on it.
Okay.
And it's from my debut album, so everything is like, done with a spur of the moment kind of a thing. Just sudden
Yeah.
idea in my head. And
Right.
also, after that, if you can share your approach to songwriting, how do you approach as an artist? Something which you can learn from.
Ah, that's a good one. I like that. Okay, so try to do everything. Okay, I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Rishi. I'm gonna do my best. Thank you, Abhishek, for your ideas. I think I can show you some things that I do when I write by giving you a writing exercise. So since Kira mentioned they would like to do a writing exercise, I think it's a nice way to start class because it kind of like opens us all up, gets us ready into the creative spirit. So hi, Kayla. Kayla's here.
Hi.
All right, so we're going to do a little mini writing exercise. And actually, everybody who's present in the Zoom room has to be involved. So even if you're an administrator, I'd like you to please participate if you could. And I promise it won't be scary. So what we're going to do is everybody needs to get out a way to do some writing. So if you have your laptop open and you can open a Google Doc or some kind of program or you can take your phone and open a notes app, whatever's the easiest way for you to do some writing with words in any language you want. Okay. The idea here is we're going to get into what I like to call a state of flow. And I did a whole master's thesis on this idea. It sounds a little bit like hippy dippy when I say the state of flow. A lot of people in the States, oh, what do you mean, yoga class? And you guys are on the other side of the world and you're probably laughing at us all the time with our yoga and our ideas, right? This Hungarian philosopher in early 90s, 1992, coined the word flow, which at that point, he was talking about a state of mind. And in the state of mind of flow, the action and awareness are meeting in the middle. So you're moving forward and you're doing, but you're not aware that you're doing. So that's the idea. So if you're thinking, oh, what time is it? Or how much longer do I have? You're not in that state. So the idea is your task at hand and the experience that you have with that task need to be met. They need to be on the same level. So when you're driving or you're doing dishes or you're singing or you're talking, there's times where you can kind of reach that state and you don't remember afterwards how long it was. because you're in a different part of your mind. So we're going to try to access it a little bit. It's really not about trying though. So I'm going to give you a writing exercise. It's not going to be long. It's just going to be a few minutes. And everybody is required to go inside for a second in their mind and heart. So if you want to, you can mute your video to receive some privacy, because this is some private writing time. It's only going to last a few minutes. So I'd like everybody to close their eyes. And I want you to, first of all, you're going to keep yourself in a safe space as you do this exercise. So what you choose, as I ask you to choose things, just go in the direction of something you feel that you can continue writing about. Because we're going to try to create a stream of consciousness writing session where whatever you think, you write down. You basically don't have any filter or block between what you're thinking and what you're writing. Okay, it's just like messy. Stream of consciousness can be called, some people call it word vomit, which is a terrible, terrible analogy, but it's the idea of just things just kind of flowing out without stopping, right? So you're going to close your eyes and you're going to go in your mind to an object or an image that immediately evokes an emotion for you. And what I mean by go to a place maybe and pick an object. In that place, you want to pick an object that immediately evokes an emotion. When I mean by evokes an emotion, what does that mean? Well, maybe it's joy, maybe it's fear, maybe it's sadness, maybe people saw the movie Inside Out. I don't know if that movie reached India, but it's definitely big in the States. And there's all these different emotions inside someone's head. So, and they have conversations. And so each emotion has a different character. So I want you to pick an emotion. That emotion could be arousal. It could be fear. You don't have to go in the direction of negative, but I want you to pick an object or an image that immediately makes you feel something, even if you're not sure what that feeling is, okay? Then as soon as you pick the object or image, if everybody has an object or image in mind, whatever it is, you can pick something very mundane like a chair. It doesn't matter, as long as that chair represents something very meaningful for you. Now I want you to take a moment, go back to your writing, and you're going to write stream of consciousness style. Yes, stream of consciousness style. You're going to tell the story around the object. Okay, I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. It's going to be really fast. It's a little 5-minute, and I call this an emotional object write. And basically, I'm going to share my screen with the instructions that I just talked about, but I am going to also set a timer for 5 minutes. Those of you who understood the instructions can get going right as I say now. And those of you who need a little bit more prompting with words, wait a second, I'm going to share the exercise so you can see what I just said and what we're doing, okay? Does anybody have any questions about what we're doing before I say ready, go? Any questions about anything I said? Go to a place in your mind, pick an object that evokes an emotion, and tell the story around the object in any messy fashion you want. Be as messy as possible and allow yourself to really suck. Like, don't be good at this exercise. You're going to just roll out a bunch of things that come out of your mind in the most non-chronological order fashion, and basically just pour a bunch of words on a page. Ready? Simply start writing first thoughts around the object image. And I want you to go to a place and in a moment in your mind, like put yourself there as if you're experiencing it right now and ask yourself these questions. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? What do I taste? What do I touch? What do I feel inside my body? What do I feel outside my body? What we're doing right now is dealing with finding ideas, but I don't want you to even worry about that right now. We are not writing a song. So you do not have to rhyme. You do not have to make any sense. And I'd really like you to just get super messy because nobody else is going to read this writing besides you. Okay. Everybody tells us to be really clean and neat and perfect all the time. And I am now asking you to get messy with your words. Okay. Ready? 5 minutes. Go. And if you get distracted or you pause or you stop writing, write about it. Two and a half minutes left. You have a little over 1 minute. If my voice is distracting, then write about it. Okay, wrap it up in the next few seconds. Finish up the last few words. How did that go? Was that strange? You can put reactions in the chat if you want. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is have you look up here because I'm going to put an example of what we just did. Emotional object right example. So here's an example that I didn't want to show you ahead of time because I basically think everybody does a different way, you know, everybody has a different way of doing stream of consciousness writing. Some people can't stop rhyming, other people have to write a song, you know, but I just start pouring out a bunch of words, and it's helpful for me in one of the phases of songwriting that I'm going to talk about in a bit called the gathering phase and the flow phase, both of those. So we just, hopefully there were moments in that writing where you kind of just went into this state of just perpetual forward motion. And the idea is that you didn't look back at what you just wrote. You just kept moving forward. If that didn't happen for you, it's okay. It's like meditation. It takes a long time sometimes to be able to focus your mind and keep moving forward. So the idea is to not necessarily look back at anything you write, but just keep going in the direction forward with the words. So this is an example of an emotional object that that I did about my grandmother's chair, because my grandmother is not with us anymore, and I used to sit in the chair with her and she would read me poetry, and it's probably why today I write songs. So for me, it was really meaningful, and yeah, and the house that I used to be in is not there anymore either. So the chair in that house has so much meaning, even though a chair might be something very kind of simple and bland for somebody else. For me, it was like really important. So the chair becomes a metaphor, you know, it becomes more than just a chair. And that is often how songwriting works. So when you're doing these stream of consciousness writing exercises, you're discovering parts of yourself that help you zero in on a central metaphor or a central idea for your song. It's not that you're writing a song in that moment. So I want you to look at my words for a second, not as if you're reading from start to finish. Don't read my words like a book. I want you to almost let your eyes look at my words like a bowl of jewels or marbles or something in front of you, all different colors, right? So it's almost like a picture of words in front of you. These words are not even, you know, looking at like one or two. You might see a sentence, but what I want you to do right now is search in my words for song titles, otherwise known as song seeds. Song seeds are little bits of information that come at you from the world that are like inspiring you in the direction of writing your next song. And what we're doing right now is looking at lyric song seeds. We're not really looking at music at all. We can definitely go into music next. But for now, we're looking at just the words. So can anyone unmute? Actually put in the chat, because you can't unmute on your own. Put in the chat if you see some words, 1 word, 2 words, 7 words in a row. Many times in English, song titles are not longer than 7 words, but do you see any song titles or song ideas in the writing? Something that you could sing, something that could be a central message of a song, like the main idea. Because in 3 to 5, sometimes a minute and 40 seconds, songs can be short, right? 3 to 5 minutes. They're usually songs are about one idea. Most songs are about one central idea. So we're looking for that more than just a title. Sometimes the title changes, right? And to know what you want to say is so important. It keeps you on track in every direction with the writing. So sometimes words are not the thing that come first, right? Sometimes a bass line comes first or a beat. And sometimes you build the whole track before you even get to words. I'm saying an idea can propel the beat without even having words yet. So maybe the words are not something that you would actually write. You just like the idea and you're going to change the words later. Can anyone write some in the chat? Ooh, I see some great ones here. Let's see. New and exciting. Echoes, vibrations, the rocking, letting go, home, memories revisited, the groceries, safe space, Sunday on the couch. These are beautiful. Are these from my writing or your own writing? I don't remember writing those words. Okay, if you were doing it with your own writing already, that's great. The idea was that you looked at my writing first from a distance, right? Like you had a moment just on my words and said, oh, I don't have any connection to these words, right? I'm not emotionally attached to somebody else's words at all. So it's much easier to pick out ideas from the writing. So everybody's going to now, if you haven't already, take a moment, look at your own words, pick out some song titles from the writing in your own words. I'm going to give you about a minute to do that. And I will share the instructions again in case you need me to be clearer. We are now on number 3. Look over your words, underline any song seeds you find from the writing, and pick one word or phrase you like the best. That's the next step after that. So first, don't worry about picking one you like the best. Just underline, bold, circle, any song seeds. I'll do it here in front of you to give you an idea. These are all things I think could be central messages or titles of songs. So I'm doing this really quickly because I do this all the time. If it's taking you a little bit longer to process words and looking at them, it's okay. But I'd love for you to find at least 3 song seeds right now in the next, let's say 20 more seconds. Okay, we're going to do this quickly because I have a lot of stuff I want to do with all of you. You're all on mute, so this is an opportunity that you can use to, if you're alone especially and no one's listening, to really just kind of get into a state of flow. And this is how you would do it. I'm going to give an example. So first you're going to pick your song seed from all that you wrote. Just pick one thing, like safe space is beautiful, Rishi. I really like safe space. So I'm gonna now just start saying it out loud to myself, like safe space, safe space, safe space, safe space. I start doing it in rhythm in different ways, like safe space. I'm in a safe space, safe space. I'm in a safe space, safe space. Okay, there's my idea. I just made that up. I just kind of went to a place in my brain and made a rhythm. So the idea that I just did was I spoke aloud. I'm kind of rapping. It's not really rapping because I'm not a rapper, but the idea is that you're finding rhythm of words first. So everybody try that now. Just pick a song seed. Nobody's listening. Maybe do it quietly if you're in a public environment, and just, like take a moment, and you can share your song seed in the chat, but you don't have to. And just play with the rhythm of the words. Kind of make a hook out of the rhythm of the words. You don't have to make like melody right away. You know, you singers especially will often immediately start singing ideas, which is good. But I think what happens with us singers is we start to listen to the sounds of our voice rather than get into a state of flow. So the idea is action and awareness meeting. Again, kind of this, I'm just kind of improvising, messing with ideas, repeating parts of words, repeating parts of phrases. Play with the rhythm for a second. Take a moment on your own and repeat the words in rhythm. I'm going to give you a second to do that. What we're talking about right now is top lining. Sometimes top lining is something that's happening over a beat that you already have, you know? Sometimes it's a cappella. Right now it's a cappella. There's so many different ways to write a song. This is just one out of a million. So the next step after you say the words is to add pitches. So if I was going, I'm in a safe space, I'm in a safe space, right? I might move that now, that rhythm, naturally use the same exact rhythm. See if you can apply it to any pitches. I don't know, let's see. I'm in a safe space. I'm in a safe space. I'm in a safe space. If you're somebody that can't sing, or you're not a singer, or you can't find any melody unless you're playing chords, it's okay. You can kind of be halfway between pitches. So you can just kind of be like speaking it into melody. I'm in a safe space. I'm in a safe space. Like just play with the natural rhythm of the words. What's a higher pitch? What's a lower pitch? What is the rhythm before you immediately just go right into melody? So you can hear the rhythm of the words and naturally move that into melody. And that is something in my world, we call that prosody. The connection between everything, all elements of the song working together towards a common theme or goal. I'm going to give you about a minute to play with melody that you add to the rhythm that you came up with for your words. Does everybody know what we're doing? Hopefully you're in an environment where you can sing a little bit and it's not embarrassing. If you aren't, you might move. Go to the bathroom and sing. One more minute on that. If you're writing away over there, you might mute me for a second. If you're stuck, I'm going to keep going on the idea of prosody. I would say what I came up with is it making me feel like the way that I sing it, am I in a safe space while I'm singing it? Does it sound like that, right? That's the next thing I'm looking at. Like, this is a different phase of writing than the flow, right? Because now I'm saying, what did I just do? Do I like it or not? That's a different part of my brain entirely that I'm using now. Because I'm going, I don't know if I'm in a safe space the way I sang it or not. I'm saying that to myself. That's not the flow, right? So the flow is just, you're like a plant almost. You're not aware of yourself doing what you're doing. And improvisation is at the heart of that. Improvisation and songwriting are not that different. They're really not, right? They're kind of the same thing. So the moment you stop yourself is then you moving into what in the States we like to call the left brain. That's a different part of your brain. It's the analytical part that's making connections and understanding the world and controlling it in our minds in a way that's logical, right? What I'm asking is to kind of tap into, it's a different part. It's kind of the part that doesn't care about any of that, you know? So the less you care in this moment, the better. I'll stop talking and give you 20 more seconds to play with melody on whatever song seed that you came up with, starting with rhythm, moving into pitches. Then I'm going to take a volunteer. Just to sing into the space. Anybody who wants to sing? You don't have to. If someone does want to volunteer to unmute and sing to the rest of us, I would love you forever. And also, it's an opportunity to just let go of all that fear around whether you're good or bad or right or wrong, you know? And that makes all of us feel good. When we do stuff that's safe, pretty much, that's kind of scary, it makes you feel totally alive. And I know there's some writers in the room that are mostly producers or guitar players that are looking at this going, I don't write like this. I know that's happening right now. It's okay. It is. I'd like you to try anyway. See what happens if you do something different. We like to talk about 360-degree songwriting. Coming from any direction to write a song. It's not about one way to write a song, starting with lyrics always, starting with music always, starting with your beat always. It's about every time you write a song, it has a different approach that you can take.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Kira. Would you like to volunteer?
Yeah.
All
So,
right.
so this is what I've just wrote down. I've been feeling a little low, so maybe it's kind of sad, but
That's
can I
okay.
sing? Can I sing?
Yes, please.
Okay. Oh, okay. Something in my head goes round and round. Again. Something in my head goes round and round. I can't carry it 'cause it's heavy. I'd like to place it somewhere and hide it under cover so no one can see. Yeah, under cover so no one can see. So that's just how much I wrote it. I couldn't think later anything.
Thank you, Kira. That's beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. I just feel like sometimes I kind of get lost in the middle, when I'm writing. Like usually when I'm writing, I don't like to, think. But sometimes my mind gets distracted and then everything just gets, paused. And then I just feel like, what's next? Where
Yeah.
do I
So
go next?
that really ties nicely into the next thing that I'd like to present, which is going to be quick because then I would like to listen to Abhishek's recording after that. So I'm going to do a presentation. I wish we had more time to listen to everybody singing. And I'm so excited if you spent time writing. If you did not get as much out as Kira, don't worry about it. It's okay. We all work at different paces. All right. And it doesn't mean that you're, any less valuable as a songwriter. I think it's the worst thing to do is compare yourself to anyone else. And that's what we all do all the time, right? To try to figure out how much value we're bringing. It's part of the society that we live in. So writing a song is the opposite of that. It's not practical to write a song ever. There's always something more practical to do than write a song, right? Doing the dishes, the laundry, whatever it is, right? So the idea of writing a song means that you have to actually do some what we call navel gazing. You're taking time for yourself. That's actually really selfish in some worlds, right? To do so. So letting go of that first, finding your safe space to do so is really, really important. Collaborating is also really important in songwriting. I think working with others that you share a common vision with, and even maybe not share a common vision with, but really enjoy writing together anyway. I think the idea is to say yes to all ideas coming at you when you're collaborating. I'm going off track though. I'd really like to show a presentation now that I like to call the 4 phases of creativity. I am keeping it pretty macro approach today, and that is because I just have an hour and I have so much I could tell you on a very granular scale, but we would not then necessarily get to all these big all-encompassing ideas. So this is a big all-encompassing idea about writing, okay? This is my writing on the subject of the 4 phases of creativity. And this can go for any subject in terms of creation, writing, you know, making a painting. It doesn't matter what kind of art or creating it is. These are my definitions of each phase and how they're basically interchanging all the time. It's not a linear thing. It's not like you start in the first phase and then you go to the second phase and the third phase. You're bouncing back and forth between phases, right? And the idea is to know what phase you're in when. So what we just did in the moment of writing was hopefully have tiny moments, maybe seconds long, or maybe the whole time, where you entered the flow state. Action and awareness meeting, we talked a lot about that. Action is the act of doing, right? Awareness is your awareness of doing the act, right? The task at hand and your experience level need to be at the same place. This is why songwriters use capos, or you track the whole rhythm first before you add the vocal. So there's ways that we limit things that we're doing at once in order to stay in that state. Writing words is great because we all have to do it in school and we have to get good at it. So we can more easily, experience level and task are more easily at the same place. If you're playing piano and singing at the same time and trying to write a song and you've never played piano and sang together before, it's going to be very difficult to reach this state, right? So we entered the flow state, hopefully. Then we went to the gathering phase and looked for ideas within the writing. We don't have to do it just there. Gathering can happen all day long. You can be in any moment in the day gathering song seeds. Song seeds can be from any direction: melodies, harmonies, people's conversations, you know, pictures that you see in front of you when you're in any scenario that make you think of something, and a phrase that you really like. So every moment of your life is a potential sign pointing you towards your next song idea. If you truly believe that, life is so much more fun. It really is. It's so much more fun. So the gathering phase is happening for me all the time because everyone is giving me something that I can gather towards my next writing, you know, everyone and everything. Then there's the incubation phase, which is really an unfortunate thing for many people because they associate it with what we call writer's block. Everyone needs to go inward and not pour anything out of themselves for periods of time. And if you're in this phase where you feel stuck or you feel what I like to call creatively constipated, like if you're stuck and you don't know how to write your next song, or you feel like you're never going to write another song, welcome to the world of being a songwriter. It's really emotional, you know, it really is. And honestly, you're just in the incubation phase. You just need a little bit more time to marinate on the ideas that you have. Maybe it's a really emotional topic, or maybe you're not really sure what you want to say, right? That means you need to go and do some more gathering, gather some more ideas. You're not ready to necessarily get into a state of flow yet because you're stuck in incubation. So gathering more ideas so you can find this state. Then eventually you enter the editing phase. In the editing phase, this is a very different phase from the flow, right? Recognizing that if you're in the state of flow, like let's say you're really great at strumming guitar and singing, and you're able to kind of like get into this like place where you're just improvising ideas for like half an hour straight. You don't even know what you're singing. You're just singing stuff, right? all of a sudden you reach a point where you stop and you're going, well, let me look at what I just did and go back and listen to the recording I made for the past half an hour or however you're working, right? You start to see that we have to create form and structure and rhyme and all these things that are really important to the aspects to the songwriting process. They're really important aspects. So the editing phase is super crucial for most of us. There's definitely people out there that will just flow out their ideas perfectly and they don't need any editing. That is rare. Maybe not for all genres, but I think that for many of us, that's rare. So most of the time we need to go back and refine things. Recognize that when you are in the state of flow, if you're there, you shouldn't be recognizing it. But at the same time, when you're in that state, stay there as long as possible. Don't let yourself move into editing too quickly, which means if you're in the DAW, if you're in a digital audio workstation and that's how you're writing, but it's so challenging for you to figure out how to create a track, find the right sound, all of those things are going to make you go into your logic brain and out of this state of just creation, right? Movement forward. So it's really good to get up, move, do an emotional object write, do a free write. That's another thing that I like to do a lot. Just write, whatever. There's a lot of other prompts that I like to give. I don't have time for them now. And I really don't have time to keep presenting this, but I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned the 4 phases of creativity, which are fluid, as you can see, because they all have arrows pointing in different directions, right? It's not like you start with one and then go to the next and go to the next. Knowing what phase you're in can be helpful for the writing process. It can be helpful because you can recognize where you are and say, oh, I can stay here for a little while. I don't have writer's block. I'm just in the incubation phase. And when you say that to yourself, you know that babies have to incubate for a certain amount of time before they can be born, just like a song. And allow that process to happen as it needs to gather some more ideas. Because if you imagine the song already exists somewhere up there in the universe, like a puzzle, and it's like a picture, and you have to put the pieces of that picture together, then you're going to keep gathering ideas like a detective, looking for clues to create the song that you're trying to create, right? It's already exists. You're merely piecing the pieces together. And I love that Rick Rubin talks a lot about that, just pulling down from the universe, because every idea has already been thought of, right? So let go of that and just pull some of those ideas that have already happened into your own stew in your own way that you put them together. That's a very macro approach to talking about songwriting. I want to allow time to look at Abhishek's writing. Can we listen to an MP3, or how can you share your writing? Are you going to play live?
So my song is on Spotify. Can I play the audio so everybody can hear? And then you
Yes, I would love for you to share your audio if possible. I can also share my audio, but Spotify has been very strange for me lately. I don't know why. When the last day when I press play, it doesn't work. I think I need to update or something. So if you could share, that would be great.
So I'm playing it right now, and if you can hear it, just say yes. I'm playing it at the medium-sized volume. Okay. So this song is called "Bring Out Your Dreams,"
Right.
and it's a dream pop kind of a song. So it's got no drums in it. It's the only
Nice.
song I want to have no drums because I want the message to come out. It's about dreams, basically. So
Do you have lyrics? Are the lyrics in English? And if so, can you share the lyrics as well? Oh, great. Wonderful. Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll play the lyrics also, and I'll present my screen. 1 second. So the song will go with the lyrics.
We can see it. Great.
at least one. Every story deserves a chance. Come to life and fully thrive. Have to strive, make it count. Give it all to get it out. One day I shall make it mine. Make this dream really shine. Thinking dreams comes to mind. Blissful joy and happy times. Feel like floating in the sky, flying high with waves of joy. Have to strive, make it count. Give it all to get it out. One day I shall make it mine. Make this dream really shine. Alive, full of life. I live out my dream. Alive, energized. Live out your dreams. Alive, full of life. Bring out your dreams. Things may not happen the way you want. You plan them well, they don't turn out. Don't be sad when it's bad. Keep smiling and moving on. Try, 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 try. Life with no dreams feels so hollow. Got no real path to follow. Dreams can be real, you gotta try. This time you might just fly. Have to strive, make it count. Give it all to get it out. One day shall make it mine. Make this dream really shine. Alive, full of life. I live out my dream. Alive, energized. Live out your dreams. Alive, full of life. Bring out your dreams.
Woo! Yeah. Yeah, Abhishek, beautiful. Beautiful writing. I like the bring out your dreams so much, the way you aligned everything on that. And kind of moved it into this alternate kind of harmony there. Bring out your dreams. I love that. That was really cool. I could hear that almost repeated a couple of times. You know, it felt to me like the emphasis of that being the title, right, of the song. There's different ways that we can spotlight or sort of put emphasis and connection to the main message, which has been the theme today. We've been talking about the main message of the song. And I just thought the harmonies and the melodies and the message of the song were really beautiful. I found it here while we were listening. This is it, yes? And I'm hoping that on my end it works. Can you all hear this? I just want to see. Yeah, okay, so maybe I didn't share my sound. Let's see if I shared my sound real quick. Yes, I did. Okay, so I want to talk through the form of this song with you because I had a thought about, I don't need to bore you with another Prezi that's the same exact look as the previous one, but we have this whole thing about form that I talk about, song form and structure. And I think that can really be important for bringing a song's message out because it's about how many times you are relaying the main message of the song to us and when that happens. And in the pop idiom, there's really you know, there's formulas that people repeat in terms of form. It's not that your song has to align with these forms. It's merely I'm just wanting to express that I would love to hear the main message of the song a little bit sooner in reference to the thousands of songs that I've analyzed in many different forms and how they sort of fit most of them into one of these categories of form, which I don't have time to go into depth about, but I wanted to talk briefly with you about the sections unfolding and how you are defining them. Because you know, if you're thinking of them as A, B, that's totally cool. Like, you don't have to be like, this is a verse, you know. I think songwriting is changing so much these days, and songs in the charts are very different in terms of like the jobs of each section and how they're working. So I don't want to put your song in a form box that it's not supposed to be, but I also want to check in with how soon I'm getting the message of bring out your dreams. I think most of the time, at least in the pop world, the main message is felt somewhere at a minute or a little bit before a minute into the tune. Like, that's the first, and unless you're a big pop star and you're at the point where you can, not just pop stars, but let's say you have a huge following in any genre, right? I think that not huge, but you can have long intros. Many people bring long intros into the songs. So everything I'm saying has an exception, and I speak in blanket statements. And you can obviously give me examples that are different. But I wanted to check in with the form and see if it were possible to bring out this, bring out the message, bring out your dreams. So can you tell me where we are here in the form? We have dreams come to everyone, and this section, it's not arranged right now so that we can see the sections separately. But Abhishek, could you unmute and just talk us through the form?
So, so basically, I wanted to make a song, you know, which inspires everybody to go and chase their dreams. And,
Yeah.
The thing was that, you know, as I made the song, the riff was very simple, G, C, D, very simple chords on the guitar. I learned the song is way too simple and life is much too complex. Everybody, so for example, everybody, like a lot of people who want to make it big into the music world, they move to LA, you know, with the hope to, get a chance of being recorded in a famous studio, or, you know, being, getting, found by some major record label. It doesn't happen to everybody. So dreams are such that, you know, we all have a dream, you know, growing up in life, but then life gets in the way and so many things happen and we forget about the dreams and we give up. So which is why I want a bridge section, which is different from the main chorus and the verse. Verse goes sound very positive, you know, it goes in a very positive direction, you know, life is blessed, go after the dreams and everything. But then I moved to this bridge very purposely, so that, you know, we go to a section which is more contemplative. To give an idea that, you know, life is not that simple, and I want to add something what to do in the case that, when life takes over and you can't go after your dream. Problems come in everybody's life. So I want to have a bridge section also. Now
The bridge is down here, right? Bridge is down here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
yeah.
So, sorry, what were you going to say?
Yeah, so that was the basic idea. And Bring Out Your Dreams, the title was the main inspiration for the chorus, which comes in the end. And before I would say that, you know, I put in the verse, I was like, you know, let me talk about dreams. What do dreams feel like? What emotions they arouse in people? And then we come to, you know, bring out your dreams. Like, so that's why it's like slightly delayed, like in that structure. That's
I think it's okay to have it slightly delayed. I think when it comes in is beautiful. I think what happened before then was verse material, mostly verse material, which was staying in more of a stable harmonic and melodic place. And I think something you can look at to create a build or sort of a reaching towards the main idea in the song form is so in all of music we have in-breath moments and we have out-breath moments. We have reaching moments and we have landing moments. We have unstable kind of like we're like not settled moments, and then we have relaxed moments, right? And it's a balance in the song how that happens. And I think often the stuff that happens before the chorus section, the chorus section of a song, can often like have something in it that reaches towards it, whatever it is in terms of the production or the melody or the harmony or the words or all of the above or one of those things. There's ways that there's a reaching or sort of growing, questioning, yearning, hoping, praying. All these things happen in a section called the pre-chorus, which I wondered about. I heard your bridge and I really loved it. And I thought the bridge might be a version of that bridge, not necessarily the bridge as it is now, but possibly a shorter version of that bridge might be a really nice section to break up the form a little bit. And I don't know if it would make sense for the lyric message, but I wondered if you were willing to move this song potentially into verse, pre-chorus, chorus form, because there was a long time as the verse unfolded before I got to the chorus, and I didn't get as much of a lift or reach as I wanted towards the main message. So that being one of the, very common song forms, which is ABC, ABC, and whether it has a bridge also, as well as a pre-chorus, it's less common these days, but still happens, So A would be verse, B would be pre-chorus, and C would be chorus, and then it repeats that cycle. It doesn't mean that your song has to fit exactly in that box, but I think it's also about the juxtaposition of like moments of settling and relaxation and moments of unsettling, reaching, in breath. So I feel like the reaching in breath moments could be more prevalent, and that you have a lot of out breath kind of relaxation moments. In terms of the shape of the melodies and the harmonies, I'm not necessarily saying just about the words. So prosody, this word I talked about before, prosody, is the connection between everything, right? How the words and the music connect, right? So you could potentially look at some of your verse material and move it differently in a pre-chorus direction. Or you could look at taking what you wrote in the bridge and trying it as a pre-chorus. And I think that if you were allowing that form to happen, we could kind of build towards the chorus a little bit more. The other idea I had, I know we're running out of time. The other idea I had was that you could repeat Bring Out Your Dreams. I love that part and how you synced everything up there. I wanted to play that one more time and just check it.
Thinking dreams comes to mind, blissful joy and happy times. Feel like floating in the sky, flying high with waves of joy. Have to strive, make it count, give it all to get it out. One day I shall make it mine, make this dream really shine. Live, full of life.
So we're at 1 minute and 49 seconds right now. And at this point, this is when I wanted to hear love happen about a minute of the way into the tune.
Okay.
For me, it felt like a long time and actually I hear you moving in a pre-chorus direction when I listen again, because I only heard it once. Sometimes I don't process everything. I did hear you kind of move your melody there in this really pretty sort of building way right before that. However, I think there was a lot of verse material before that, so we might have had A, B, C there a little bit more, or I have to listen again, but I really like the way you move to that alternate melody.
Have to strive,
This part.
make it count, give it all to get it out.
Yeah, I think if that happened earlier in the form than that you would allow that to propel it into the first chorus. I know that might not feel like the right fit for this song for you, because you wanted to wait and say these words before you get to that first moment. But I'm saying, as the listener, I would understand the message more if I heard this section earlier and I were able to sing along with it. I'm going to pay more attention to the second verse. then and really hear what you have to say. So if some of this stuff happened later, it might work. You'd have to play with it, but I think that you play with the form, also play with repeating "Bring Out Your Dreams" because that line is so special. And I want to hear where that happens again.
One day of life, I live out my dream alive, energized. Live out your dreams alive, full of life. Bring out your dreams.
Bring out dreams. Bring out. Bring out. Whatever you want to do, you know what I mean? Like, bring it and bring.
That's a really good idea. That's a really cool idea. I mean, I didn't think like that, but yeah, I mean,
Ba, 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 ba. It's like we keep repeating that motive. It's like how many beats, but you keep it in 4/4. I love that because it gives it a hook. It's sort of like 3 to 4 down, 1, 2. Bring out your dreams. It's in 4/4 still, but it's like half the measure, and it happens as a pickup, and it's really cool because it emphasizes dream on the downbeat. So if you're going 1, 2, bring out your dreams, 1, right? That's how I'm hearing it. 1 is the downbeat of a new measure, and when you hear 1, it's important. It's always where, like, if you're putting a kick drum or you're putting emphasis in a chord, it happens on that beat, right? So when you align that with the most important word of the song, right, you're making an important statement. It's good. And you already did that. I just wanted to hear it a couple more times, which is just another tool for emphasizing, your title. It's another kind of tool to just repeat it a few times. It's short, but it's important. And that's why I like the idea of the repetition. You could also look at like being like, and then the music goes. I can't play over this. Sorry. Bring out your dreams. Like you could repeat it and put space in between as well if you wanted to. There's different ways that you could repeat it, right? You might want to play with repeating part of the phrase, and that might not feel right either, but I'm just saying these are all options. Like bring out your dreams, bring out, you know what I mean? Like your dreams. There's all different ways that you can repeat, right? And I think,
you see, bring out your dreams. So ending on a very high note, something like that, just as an idea, it came to me.
yeah, moving the voice up is another way to emphasize the title, and so like repetition, moving to a different range that you didn't sing in before. Those are ways, and also space, making it a different kind of phrasing and space, which you did there. So I like that, and I wanted to emphasize it more. I don't know. I think that I was excited to listen because I was reminded of some of my favorite like songwriters like Jimi Hendrix. I don't know if you're a Jimi Hendrix fan, but I am. And so I wanted you to go listen to The Wind Cries Mary and listen to how it emphasizes the title in that song unexpectedly with some extra instrumental movements on the guitar, because I think that this is a guitar driven writing. Yes. And so it's cool to also give the guitar a role in the song as another person, thinking about a melodic response or things that guitar can do with chord movement to have a conversation with the vocal even more. I'm hearing a lot of
a bit like blues, somewhat like blues.
A little bit. I mean, you're kind of moving in that Mixolydian mode territory, which is flat 7, a chord movement there. Sounds very in my Western world. in the States, I start thinking in terms of the blues because that's so rooted in my history and culture. But I think that that's also not something you have to do with this song. You know what I mean? It's just something that I'm hearing in my biased direction. But I think that, you know, you really have written something beautiful, but I just want the main message to happen a little sooner in the form and have it exploded in about a minute. Even a minute, you know, and 10 seconds would be okay. But I think by a minute and 50 seconds, that's usually nowadays in the commercial world. Now I'm just talking about that world, you know. You may choose to not live in that world, and that's totally cool. A lot of times, around 2 minutes into the tune, that we've already gotten to a bridge idea or a break or a rap or a development section. 2.5 minutes, 60-something% of the way through the song, that's where the climactic moment happens and there's a bridge or some kind of other development section often. So I'm just encouraging you to move through the sections a little bit more quickly, allow the build to happen a little bit more quickly so that your listeners are carried on a journey and you're not relying so much on explaining as you are in musical elements to showcase what you're talking about. Because you don't have to use words to explain. You can use music to explain as well, you know, and I think that you're doing that so beautifully. It's just about altering the form a little bit, I think, to get it to a place where you keep your listener on the edge of their seat, you know? Like it's always a balance between repetition and contrast or simplicity and audacity. And you want to get to this kind of place where you let people hear enough repetition that they know what's going to come, but then surprising them, you know, at the same time, right? We all have a different idea of where that is. Too much repetition, too much variation. I think I'm always in the direction of repetition is beautiful more than you think. And that is because as the writer, and this is the last thing I'm going to say because I know we're late, as the writer, you get so used to yourself. You play the song a million times, you spend 14 hours working on it in a recording and tracking, and you get so tired of yourself, right? So you, as the writer, are sick of some things that when you sing it for other people, they're hearing it for the first time. Right. They're hearing it for the first time. They didn't get that same opportunity that you got to sit there for 14 hours with your song. So, you know, there's a certain amount of when you're in the editing process, you have to back away from, you know, like your attachment to the song and start looking at the song from the standpoint of what does the song need from me? Like almost like a child asking you for something, like it's separate from you now. You had the song, you birthed the song, and now it needs things from you, you know, different from what you might need from it. I want my second verse to be right after my first verse, but your song says, no, I want a pre-chorus, right? And those things happen all the time in writing. So it's usually a good idea to let the song tell you what it needs, you know. It's hard to see it. I know that's really kind of sounds the philosophy of that is strange, but it involves letting go of your ego in association with the song. That's really basically what I'm.
I just have one small question, Sarah, and you know, it's regarding the verse refrain form or the formats which you presented right now. A, B, B, C, D. Yeah. So the thing is, you know, I operate in the genre of grunge rock. Now, grunge rock is basically all your Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, and Smashing Pumpkins.
Rock. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of my inspiration comes from classic rock bands like, you know, Zeppelin, Beatles, or, you know, Grand Funk or Cream. So I analyzed songs by all of these artists to see that, you know, which songs fall in the AABA or ABA, which format. And then and at the end of it, I realized that basically it all boils down to the artist at that point of time for the song. Did he stick to this format or he went completely different and did something of their own? Like, for example, Deep Purple, Smoke in the Water is not a song about, you know, love break. It's a song about a real life incident. So it's almost like a reporter telling that, you know, we went there, there was a fire in Montreux, and, you know, then this happened. It's like an incident being shared. So I thought to myself that, you know, as a songwriter, I mean, it may not be necessary that your song has to fit a certain format. You can just do something of your own, and if it meets with the theme of the composition, it's done. I mean,
yeah, I agree entirely with that. And when I talk about form, it's usually met with resistance because everyone you know wants to create something out of a state of flow and just allow it to be it's also there's an attachment to like how it came out, it was in a moment in time that I felt so strongly, right? And I flowed it out this way. And so that's the way it always has to be, right? What I'm talking about is you can dress your song up in all different ways. You could make it a grunge rock song. You could make it a 6/8, R&B song. You could do all those different things with it in any direction you want. That's a different part of your brain. That's the editing part. That's a different part of the process of writing. It's the editing. And you can decide in a moment to do that, put it in a different form and structure if you want to. You can also leave it as is. I think that with the smoke on the water example, I would love to look at that if we had more time. But I think what I would like you to do, Abhishek, for the sake of understanding how songs unfold that you love and how you can more readily, write using that idea, but in your own style, right? In your own way. It's really important to just check in with, where do we hear the central message? Where is that? Where's the first moment in time that we get that central message? How is it building to that moment, regardless of form? Right? Let's stop talking about form, right? It's more about where we're going to build, where we're going to land, where we're going to create a climactic moment, and that I think is also part of the editing process, but more organically gets into just asking your song, okay, maybe my song needs a 2-minute intro, that's okay. That's really important to me to have that 2-minute intro there. So what I'm talking about the title and the minute mark is very much living in a limited area of music, very much a limited sort of commercial pop area. And it's based on just an understanding of commercial music, but it also doesn't apply to every situation. And what you do with your song and unfold it, you could keep those 2 verses up top and then kind of move into the next section, but then move the building into the arrangement. Look at how because of Deep Purple, if you listen to what they're doing, I mean, there's music, the music is ever changing. There's parts being added and taken away. And those parts are built into drum parts, bass parts, whatever they are. And those parts are changing. So there's ways of building the music. There's building intensity, which means that you're actually playing more or filling up more space on a part. And then there's building density, which means that you're adding tracks, right? Adding tracks to what the recording is. So that's a way to create a build without even changing the form, right? And I think that there's all different ways to use kind of a reaching moment or a landing moment in the music. And I think that I'm just encouraging you to create that more at the beginning. If that's what you want to do, but put it in the instrumentation if you don't want to change the form, From what I'm hearing, based on just vocal and guitar right now, mostly as a demo, is a need for the form to be different based on just those 2 instruments. So once I heard more instruments, my opinion would probably change. But that's beautiful writing, Abhishek. Thank you so much for sharing today, and I appreciate it. Let's give Abhishek another hand. It's not easy to put your song on the chopping block for critique. I appreciate that
feedback. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, everyone, for your time today. It was a pleasure meeting all of you. And thank you, Robak, for the invitation and the opportunity.
Thank you, Sarah. We didn't get to introduce you properly, and we just got kickstarted in the session. So just want to let everyone know, Sarah is a professor at Berklee College of Music, and she has successful students like Jake Torrey, who are songwriter for Maroon 5 and Charlie Puth, and also Amy Allen, who's the songwriter for Harry Styles and Selena Gomez. So if you really found today's masterclass informative, please follow Sarah. I have put her Instagram handle in the chat. Give her a like, and yeah, thank you so much for doing it, Sarah.
Thank you. I see a question in the chat now. Sometimes when I'm sharing my screen, I don't see questions. PJ, I just wanted to say, you're depending on chord progressions to come up with vocal melodies. I think that it's good to also check out samples on programs like Splice, that kind of thing, and not rely totally on your own playing to come up with the vocal melodies, but have a beat or something, some kind of sample that you can use to loop under your voice and sing over it that way. You can also get separately. I often don't write at the piano very well. If I sit down at the piano and I go, okay, I'm going to write now, it never happens. So the place that you're going to write is washing dishes, in the shower, you know, walking. Those are the places where writing moments that come to you and you capture them in the gathering part of songwriting. That's when it'll happen. So get away from your instrument and just start singing, singing a cappella. All right. Thank you, everyone. Take
All right,
care.
thank you, Sarah.